But Danny, from there, I mean, Hulk Hogan had his Randy Savage. I'm not trying to discredit Savage, but The Rock is Stone Cold's Randy Savage. He's number 2, and that should be clear for everyone who's not 11 right now, because they're rewriting history as we speak, and it's kind of frustrating for me.
Right. We did a year ago. We did the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, and Austin made it and Rock didn't. And one of the arguments was they're kind of 1A and 1B with each other, but that Austin gets priority, he gets more credit for what he did, like he carried that company. And I think at one point we even argued that Austin kind of seemed responsible for The Rock. Like without Austin, we don't know that there would have been a Rock on the same level. But if Rock had never come along, Austin would have still existed.
I don't know where that logic comes from, because The Rock came up through a completely different path. Well, then no, he didn't. The Intercontinental title stuff with Austin. All right, I see what you're saying. Now, let's focus more on this Rock Austin, because right now, they're telling us the greatest superstar who ever lived, The Rock. Isn't that what it said on his, or is that what the Bottom Line DVD said?
That's the name of the Austin DVD.
Okay,
the greatest
good.
superstar of all time,
Thank
Bottom
God.
Line, Stone Cold said so, whatever.
Oh, God, thank God, Danny, because I could have sworn The Rock wins it. But anyways, they're still hinting, like with The Rock beating Cena, that now he's getting that number 1 thing. And he's not even number 2 in all time. He's got to be 3 behind Hogan. But here's my question. What does it take? And this is your question I'm taking from you and pretending I came up with it. What does it take for The Rock to surpass Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Oh, it seems like it should be doable because he's like still active, where Austin, there's hints at it, maybe if he comes back, we get like one more match out of him. And even one more match out of Austin, I feel won't matter like the matches we're getting out of The Rock with like John Cena or whoever he fights next year at WrestleMania. That's already been hinted that The Rock might get another world title run. Like that possibly pushes him over.
You're right. I mean, if he does go on to beat Brock for the belt. But no, for me, Stone Cold Steve Austin will always be the top slice of bread, and The Rock is the end of the bread. Like, whatever. You're never going to be a middle piece, okay?
I think what would have to happen, but I don't see it ever happening, is he would have to come back, and it would have to be a full-time, and he would have to be, like, the man in the company again. And not just because they push him as so, because he's, like, a Hollywood star, but like legitimately, like you'd feel like he's the guy that's carrying the company. Like when when Hogan held it, we can go all the way through. When Hogan held it, clearly he was the guy that carried the company. And same thing with Bret Hart. He was the guy, nobody else was around. Shawn Michaels, his window a little smaller where he was the guy, but no doubt while he was champ, like everything rested on him. So, I mean, you go into Austin, I think the company never really rested on The Rock, and that might be the weakness there. Like you never felt like without The Rock, the company wouldn't have anything going on. It always seemed like if he went away, there were still other people there.
Well, Danny, even if that happens, it doesn't change the heights Austin took it to compared to whatever The Rock would take it to. It wouldn't be an 8.4 rating, even though that was his segment. It wouldn't be a consistent 5s and 6s. And Danny, and that's even with 2s and 3s going to another show. Like that's how big Austin made it. There was ratings like now for Nitro. Or WWE ratings now, back then for Nitro. On top of that, 5s and 6s for Raw. That's ridiculous. It shouldn't happen. People in Boston, when we'd go to shows, would all have Austin 316 shirts. They'd be yelling. The cheers I heard, it was frightening when he came out, when the glass broke. The Rock will never match that.